Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Wednesday, February 20th, and a very busy weather pattern as you can see. This is certainly part of the main headlines that we're going to be looking at here, not only for the next 72 hours, but really we're in a very active pattern. And again, snow and freezing rain today, around a tenth to maybe a tenth and a half inch ice, and 1 to 2 inches of snow, especially across the northern areas before it changes to freezing rain. And again, there could be some issues with area schools tomorrow, and we'll look at that later on. But again, a stronger weekend storm looks like it could bring some pretty significant rain, but we really need to watch the temperature profiles, the track of that storm. If we were to shift any further south, parts of the MAC area could see more in the way of wintry precipitation. Right now, many areas could pick up a half to an inch of rainfall. And again, we expect plenty of snow to melt, but not all of it. I think the heavy layers of ice and snow underneath are going to hang around, and then we'll probably replenish that snow, I think, later on next week. And for the last week of February, the first week of March looks like compared to normal, we could be brutally cold. So we've got lots more winter coming up here over the next couple of weeks. And back on the 7th, we talked at the MAC Outlook Conference that I was waiting for the Southern Oscillation to go into a crash, and you can see that's exactly what it did. Time I talked at the LAC Outlook Conference, we were very negative, and our continued crash of the Southern Oscillation Index continues. And this right here screams a lot of cold in about 8 to 10 days or so. So again, our pattern is going to turn mighty cold here as we go through later next week. I think from about the middle of the week or the end of the week right on through the following couple of weeks, we could have plenty of cold air and certainly opportunities for snowfall. You can see temperatures out there this morning, mainly in the upper teens to low 20s across the area. The warm spot down in the southeast part of the state, 26.8 at Jasper. On the satellite view, you can see the big influx of moisture coming from the Pacific, and eventually it'll be the Gulf. We expect a lot of showers and thunderstorms across the southern portions of the state or the U.S. And again, that'll move to the north and become mixed with precipitation. And we got several more storms lined up. The biggest one looks like it'll come this weekend. I'm telling you, places in Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, much of the UP are going to just get buried in snow here over the next 7 days. And if we look at the radar this morning, you can see the area of snowfall beginning to develop and move off to the north. Again, some of this now reaching the ground, but eventually it'll start snowing here later on this morning, and then it'll turn to some freezing drizzle and freezing rain here as the mid-level moisture begins to get stripped away. And again, that could cause some very icy conditions across much of the area. Another big concern would be winds gusting around 30 miles an hour later on this evening into tonight. We could look for maybe even some power outages scattered about with those winds and some of the heavier accumulation areas where you do see more freezing rain. Again, something we'll have to watch here for tomorrow morning as far as area schools. On this morning's weather map, you can see low pressure system that'll be moving off to the northeast, spreading warm air over top into the cold air, and that's going to produce some freezing rain again across much of lower Michigan. Winter weather advisories are up for the entire area. And then by tomorrow, that cold front moves through the area. Temperatures will struggle to get into the low 30s, so that ice will hang around in the morning. And then we're looking at our next developing area of low pressure. Again, this is going to move up right towards lower Michigan and bring very heavy snows as we get into early in the weekend here across much of the upper Midwest. As far as how much precipitation over the next 10 days, you can see a whole lot of precipitation, even for the center part of the state, anywhere from 3/4 to 1.5 inches. And this up here in this area, this is going to be a whole lot of winter going on. Some areas could be measuring snow in a 1 to 2 or even more feet of snow, and then lots of heavy rain, thunderstorms, and maybe even some severe weather as you get into the southern Ohio Valley. So we're in about the best position for the least amount of precipitation, but again, it's going to be pretty nasty here this weekend. I think many areas will pick up a good 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch of rainfall. And again, we really have to watch temperature profiles very carefully. As far as the freezing rain here, over the next 72 hours, you can see the heaviest amounts are depicted across southeast lower Michigan. The European has a little farther north, but again, very icy conditions are expected here as we go through the day into this evening. And as far as how much snowfall here over the next 10 days, look at the incredible amounts of snow being forecasted, and this is a good agreement with the European and the Canadian as well, showing just a tremendous amount of snow once you get up into the UP, and again, even northwestern lower Michigan, the European a little farther to the northwest, but again, shows a lot of snow for the big ski areas up in northwest lower Michigan. So a very active pattern coming up. As far as our in-house computer, you can see it's putting out about 1 to 2 tenths of liquid equivalent, which would be about a tenth or so of freezing rain, maybe an inch of snow. And again, mainly in the form of rain. May start off with a little bit of icing here, and then maybe end with a little bit of icing or snow here as we get into Sunday, with temperatures falling Sunday right on through the day. And then we look at our system, about 2 to 4 inches expected around that Tuesday time period. And then yet for later on next week, maybe another system that'll bring more snow. So again, a very active pattern coming up here over the next 7 days. And you can see the extended outlook. You can see much below normal temperatures expected across much of the western 2/3 of the U.S. And it'll begin to expand to the east here as we get into the 8 to 14 day outlook. And again, with above normal to near normal precipitation, more snowfall certainly expected across the area. Our forecast today climbs into the low 30s with that freezing rain and snow mix. Again, I think it'll start off with snow, change over to freezing rain as the mid-level moisture gets stripped away. And then we got a 4 on the index as far as potential school delays tomorrow. And I think there'll be more in the form of delays, and we'll just keep an eye on that. Temperatures warming up into the mid-30s to low 40s over the weekend with that significant rainfall on Saturday. Again, we got to watch the track of that system. Further south could mean more in the way of wintry precipitation, and then that mix will change over to some snow as we get into later Sunday. Our lows on Sunday will be around the mid-30s, highs only in the upper 30s. That'll occur in the morning, and then temperatures will fall all afternoon into the low 30s by late in the day. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.